You put on the headset and tell yourself it isn't real. It's just pixels, sound effects, an illusion wrapped around your eyes. You laugh at the glitches, you shrug at the lag, and you always remind yourself you can take it off whenever you want. But what if you can't? What if the world inside starts feeling heavier than the one outside? What if your body stops listening, your hands refuse to pull the headset away, your voice doesn't reach past the speakers? Think about it. You blindfold yourself willingly. You plug your hearing into something you don't control. You tell your brain to accept a lie, even if only for a little while. That's the deal you make every time you slide into VR. And it's harmless, until it isn't. Because sometimes the program doesn't end when you think it does. Sometimes, when you wake up, you aren't sure which world is the real one anymore. And sometimes the thing you meet in there follows you back. 3 people thought they were safe. They thought VR was just a game, a toy, a distraction. But when the lines blurred, when the headset refused to let go, they discovered a truth no one wants to believe. You don't always decide when you come back. So ask yourself, before you put it on again, when the world flickers, when the room around you shifts, when your reflection doesn't quite match, how will you know if you're the one still playing? Because once you go too deep, once you stay too long, you might realize the scariest part isn't being stuck inside VR. It's the thought that maybe you never left. VR is everywhere now. It's not just for gamers anymore. People use it to work out, to travel without leaving their couch, even to sit in endless work meetings that feel just as exhausting as the real thing. Slip the headset on and the world changes instantly. The glow of the screen swallows you whole. The straps press into your face. Your breathing echoes louder than it should. And the room you're really sitting in, the creak of your chair, the faint hum of your fridge, the shuffle of someone walking outside your door, fades into a muffled blur. It's total immersion. And when it's over, when you finally peel the headset away, the silence afterward feels strange. Like stepping off a roller coaster and realizing your legs aren't steady. Like opening your eyes and needing a second to remind yourself where you really are. That's the strange deal you make every time. You give up control of your sight, your hearing, even your sense of balance, just for the promise of a world that isn't yours. And it feels safe, because you can always take it off. That's what you tell yourself every time. The power is in your hands. But what happens when it isn't? What happens when the headset refuses to release you? When your body doesn't move? When the world outside feels less real than the one you left behind? 3 people discovered the answer. 3 stories of VR gone too far. And after hearing them, you might never look at that glowing headset the same way again. Because the truth is, once you step inside, you can't always decide when or if you come back. Story 1, The Endless Room. It was supposed to be just another late-night gaming session. You know the type. Headset on, lights off, heart pounding while you stumble through a horror VR game. The user was playing one of those indie titles, the kind that promised true immersion. No map, no HUD, no tutorials. Just you and the world it built around you. At first, it was everything you'd expect. Flickering hallways, doors that creaked open on their own, a whisper just out of earshot. But then, something broke. They turned a corner, and instead of another hallway, instead of the scripted scare waiting for them, there was nothing. Just a perfectly white, endless room. No shadows. No textures. No sound except their own quick breathing, echoing strangely against invisible walls. At first, they laughed. Glitches happen, right? It was probably just a coding error. They spun around, trying to retrace their steps, expecting the hallway to still be there. But the door was gone. The menu wouldn't pull up. The pause button did nothing. Even the controller feedback, the little vibrations when you clicked, was dead. It felt like being dropped into limbo, like a developer's test environment that no one was supposed to see. And yet, it was oddly mesmerizing. A pure white void stretching forever in all directions. The kind of silence that feels too heavy, pressing against your ears until you hear your own pulse. They told themselves they'd just reboot the headset, easy fix. But when they pulled it off, they were still there. Still standing in the same endless white room. Still blind to their real bedroom. Still trapped. Panic hit like a lightning strike. They ripped at the straps, clawed at the headset, desperate to feel the air of their apartment on their skin. but nothing changed. The weight of the headset was gone, yes, but the vision stayed. They ran, or tried to. Their legs moved, heart hammering, but the horizon never shifted. The white void had no depth. It swallowed every step. Minutes passed, then hours. Their throat burned from screaming into the silence, but no sound seemed to carry. They told themselves it wasn't possible. It had to be in their head. Maybe they'd passed out, maybe this was a dream. But when they pinched their arm hard enough to bleed, the pain was real. That's when they noticed the blinking. Every time they closed their eyes, even just for half a second, the room changed. Slightly. A faint smudge, like a mark on the lens. Then gone again. The more they blinked, the clearer it became. There was something in the distance. At first, it was nothing but a shape, dark against the endless white, too far to make out, but each time their eyes flickered shut, the figure was closer. It didn't move like a glitch. It moved like it knew. Shoulders, arms, a body, standing, waiting, watching. Their chest tightened, air refusing to enter their lungs. They tried not to blink, holding their eyes open until tears streamed down their cheeks. Burning, but your body always betrays you. Eventually, your eyes close. And every time they did, the figure advanced, closer and closer and closer, until it was right there. The last blink was unavoidably long, just 1 second too many. And when their eyes opened, the figure's hand was reaching for their face. Then, blackness, not the void, not the game, not the headset, just nothing. Hours later, their friends came looking for them. They'd stopped answering messages. The door was unlocked, the apartment was dark, and there they were, collapsed on the floor, headset still strapped to their face, breathing shallow, eyes moving rapidly beneath their lids. It took 3 people to shake them awake. When they finally gasped back into consciousness, they ripped the headset off so violently it snapped a strap. But here's the thing. When the friends went to check the game, it was gone. The file had deleted itself. The entire folder was corrupted. And the user, they refused to play VR ever again. But sometimes, in the middle of a conversation, they'll stop talking, staring off into nothing. And if you ask them what they saw in there, what that final moment felt like, they'll just shake their head and whisper, "I think it followed me back." Story 2. The Mirror Avatar. She just wanted company. That's why she joined social VR in the first place. A place where you could walk into a bar, a forest, a concert, without ever leaving your bedroom. Her avatar was simple. Jeans, a hoodie, hair tied back. Nothing special, just her in a digital shell. But the night it happened, she stepped into one of those crowded VR lounges and froze. Because sitting across the room was herself. Same clothes, same face, even the same little nervous habit, tilting her head to the left just slightly when she was listening. She thought it was funny at first. A glitch, maybe, or someone copying her settings by mistake. So she walked up to the avatar. "Hey," she said, voice light, nervous laughter under her breath. The avatar said, "Hey," back, her exact voice, perfectly matched. She joked about it in the chat. Other players laughed. Nobody seemed to notice how exact the twin was, how the lips moved in perfect sync. But she noticed. The first real shiver came when she waved at it, and it waved back before her arm even moved. She froze, arm still at her side. The twin's hand was already in the air, mocking the motion she hadn't yet made. It wasn't copying her, it was predicting her. She tested it again, tilted her head. The twin tilted first. She shifted her weight. The twin shifted before she even thought to move. It was like watching a reflection in fast forward. Her pulse spiked. She ripped off her headset, chest heaving. And that's when it got worse. She expected her dark, quiet bedroom. And that's what she got. Almost. Because across from her bed was her black TV screen. And in that glassy reflection, her avatar was still there. It moved, tilting its head, lifting its hand, smiling, even though she wasn't smiling. Her breath caught in her throat, ragged and shallow. She backed away, whispering, "No, no, no, no," like it could undo what she was seeing. The reflection stepped closer. Its smile widened. She stumbled forward, slammed the TV off at the wall. The screen went black. And in that instant, just before the glass went dark, she swore she saw it lean in, face pressing close to hers, grinning wide enough to split its cheeks. She didn't sleep that night, or the next. The headset gathered dust in the corner of her room, but her VR friends, they kept messaging her. "We saw you last night. Good to see you back. You were laughing so hard. Haven't seen you like that in forever. And she didn't have the heart to tell them. She hadn't logged in, not once. But somewhere, in those endless VR lounges, her avatar was still walking, still talking, still laughing. And the more they described it, the more she realized it wasn't copying her anymore. It was becoming her. Story 3, The Stuck Login. He'd been waiting months for this one. The newest VR MMO promised full immersion like nothing before it. Not just sight and sound, but haptics, pressure, heat, even simulated pain. It sounded insane, but gamers were lining up in forums, hyping it as the future. And he was one of the first to get his hands on the beta. The setup took almost an hour. Headset, gloves, the vest that clamped across his chest, the wires snaking down his arms. When it all booted up, he laughed under his breath. Because it worked. The world that loaded wasn't just pixels. The stone under his hands felt rough. The air carried a smell. Pine needles, smoke, even the faint stink of livestock somewhere down the village road. When an NPC brushed past him, he felt the contact, a light push against his shoulder. When he stumbled on the cobblestone, the vest pinched against his ribs. It was overwhelming. Too real. But thrilling. Hours passed like minutes. He fought monsters, traded in the market, even tasted the tang of ale in a digital tavern. It was everything he'd been promised, and more. But eventually, exhaustion set in. He needed out. Just a quick break. So he tried to pull up the menu. Nothing, he frowned. Tried again. No menu. Log out, he said aloud. Silence. Exit game. Still nothing. The world kept moving around him. NPCs passed, talking, selling, living their scripted little lives. The sun in the sky didn't flicker or freeze like it would in a glitch. It was stable. It was working. Except he couldn't leave. Panic clawed its way up his throat. He yanked at the gloves, the vest. Nothing came off. His fingers moved in-game but not outside it. His real body wasn't responding. He could feel his pulse in his neck, hammering, threatening to split him open. But his chest didn't rise right. His hands didn't move where he told them. He wasn't in control anymore. That's when he heard it. The NPCs. They weren't repeating their normal chatter anymore. They were whispering, low, breathless, all around him. You're not going back. You're ours now? You belong here. He stumbled through the village square, head whipping side to side. The faces that turned to meet his weren't blank-coded anymore. Their eyes tracked him. Their mouths smiled. Log out, he screamed again, tears cutting hot lines down his cheeks. Let me out. The crowd gathered, NPCs closing in from all sides, hands reaching, voices overlapping. You're not going back? You're not going back? You're not going back. His heart spasmed in his chest, real pain stabbing him. He doubled over, then fell. And when his avatar hit the ground, he felt everything. The crunch of bone, the stabbing agony tearing up his leg, his ribs. His vision blurred with white-hot pain, so convincing it stole his breath. His last thought before blacking out wasn't, this is a game, it was, this is how I die. When he woke, it was morning. Sunlight leaked through his blinds. He was slumped in his chair, drenched in cold sweat. His headset sat heavy on the carpet, like it had fallen off on its own. Every muscle screamed with fatigue. His throat was raw from shouting. His heartbeat still skipped, irregular and wrong. He checked his account in shaking disbelief. Total logged in time, 96 hours. But he only remembered 3. And the rest? He couldn't recall. Just a blur. A hiss of whispers that never left his head. Sometimes, when he's lying in bed at night, he swears he can still feel the vest pressing against his ribs. And every so often, just as sleep takes him, he hears the voices again. You're not going back. 3 players, 3 games. And not one of them knew the exact moment the headset stopped being a toy and started being a trap. One walked into a white room and couldn't find the door. One waved at a mirror and watched herself move first. One swallowed a world so whole it wouldn't let him go. Different stories, different studios, different hardware, but the same sickening aftertaste. A thrill turned to panic, a comfort turned to captivity. People talk about them in buried threads and late-night message boards. Quiet corners where gamers trade screenshots and warnings. They call the posts phantom sessions. Accounts that show players logged in for days, weeks, even months after everyone swears they logged off. Friends swear they saw avatars moving, laughing, grieving in lobbies where no one should be. Moderators pull the records and find gaps, corrupted files, timestamps that skip like bad film. Then the posts disappear. The usernames are scrubbed, the recordings fail to play, and the rumor spreads quieter, like static creeping under a door. Maybe it's a bug, maybe it's a prank, maybe it's an urban myth for the headset age, but you don't need proof to feel the chill, the tiny, electric prickle when you take a headset off and the room doesn't quite fit your body anymore. The little lag between removing the straps and remembering where you are. So before you slide the headset back on next time, do one small thing. Check your reflection. Look at the person in the glass. Make sure their breath fogs the surface. Make sure their eyes blink when you blink. Make sure the smile you see is yours and not someone practicing while you're gone. Because if the worlds blur, if the avatar learns to wait for you, the scariest question isn't whether you'll escape. It's whether you'll want to. If you've stayed with me this long, maybe you belong here. Maybe you like the way the dark feels when a story presses close to your ear. Maybe you're the kind of person who wants to know what waits behind the next loading screen, the next boot up, the next quiet click when the world goes soft around the edges. Don't treat this like a button. Treat it like a choice. Click it and step deeper. Subscribe and never take the headset off, at least not yet. Stay long enough to hear the things that whisper when the servers sleep. Stay to watch avatars that learn your face, to listen to lullabies that drip through baby monitors, to feel the static breathe against your neck. The next story's waiting. It's already stitching itself together from scraps of code and memory. It's practicing the cadence of your laugh. It knows where you pause when you tell the truth. Don't log out just yet. There's one more twist, one more shadow that wants to be seen by you. They say only the fearless subscribe, but you're still here, aren't you? That means you're not leaving. That means you want to hear what comes next, even if it means you'll sleep with one eye open. So do it. Click, follow, linger. Bring a light if you must, but know this. The best part of the night is always when the headset clicks back on, when screens go black and something else steps forward.